I've been guilty of this in my life. We start to tell ourselves that our life will never be the same. We start to tell ourselves that we wasted time. We start to tell ourselves that we're not important. We don't have any worth because we lost something. And I want to tell you this, like, there's a few things I want to remind you of. And the first thing I want to remind you of is this. And I know this might not necessarily help you, but if you understand this, it will bring some power back into your life. I had to tell myself this many a times when something or someone left my life, because we feel like we're not enough. We feel like we're inadequate. We feel like, man, what's wrong with me? And I want to tell you this quote, and you can write this in the chat. Never think there's something wrong with you because someone or something doesn't choose you anymore. Don't ever write yourself a death sentence by saying that. Because yes, you might not be right for them no more. You might not be right for it anymore. And that's okay. You will never be in your life that certain things have to go wrong so things can go right. Certain things have to leave your life so things can go right. And I know when you're going through it, it's hard to understand. I know when you're going through it, it sucks. But I want to tell you this, man. And please write down these quotes and tell yourself this every single day. Sometimes it takes a painful ending. I would say all the time, it takes a painful ending to create a beautiful new beginning in your life. And right now, I want you to tell yourself, I am starting new. I am starting fresh. I don't even want to tell yourself you're starting over, because a lot of times we think we have to start over. No, we just start new. Start new means we learn from our past. Start new means we learn from that situation. And we didn't waste time, because if you tell yourself you're starting over, you start to program in your mind that, man, I wasted time. I wasted years of my life. No, you didn't. You just learned how to love yourself more. You just learned how to value yourself more. That thing was a gift to you. And so when you're feeling heartbroken, I want you to remind yourself of this truth. And I want you to hear me. There was a you before it was a you and them. There was a you before it was a you and it. There was a you before it was you and that thing, whatever that situation is. Sometimes we forget. As I always tell you, and I say this all the time, they didn't create you. Some of us think that they created us and we start acting like that. I know it hurts. I know it sucks. I know it feels like, man, like I'm so heartbroken. And you deserve to go through your moments of feeling sad. We're human beings. But never let what you feel make you forget what's real. What's real? If there was a you before it was them, and there's going to be a you after them. What's real is that you still have more life to live. What's real is that you still have worth. What's real is you're still lovable. What's real is they're going to be a greater you. And you got to start telling yourself that, because once you start getting to the point of belief, once you start realizing, like, wait a minute, this ended, but it doesn't mean my life has to end. This ended. It doesn't mean that I got to say, like, there's nothing more to my life. This ended. It doesn't mean that my future doesn't hold better. I'm going to tell you right now, with your permission, your future will hold better. With your permission, your future will hold better than what you were settling for. With your permission, the thing that left your life, the thing that quit on you, will be your greatest gift, because you're going to move into something that appreciates you. You're going to move into something that values you. You're going to move into something that respects your worth. You're going to move into something that adds to your life and doesn't take away from it. But you got to start telling yourself that it was a me before them. It was a me before it. If it was a job or a sport, it was a me before that. God created you, not them. And please understand this truth. God created you, not them. And I want to be very sensitive to you. Like, I'm not saying you can't feel sad. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But you start to heal when you realize that your future has better. You start to heal when you realize that your life isn't over. You start to realize when you say, you know what? I'm going to move forward towards my best. Your best life is not in your past. And only you can believe that. You hear me? Only you can believe that. I can preach it to you, I can tell it to you, but if you don't believe it, you're going to live in your past. Your best life is not in your past. Your best life is in your future. I want you to show yourself right now that there's a you even after that thing. There's a greater you even after that thing. There's a better you even after that thing. You have a next level even after that thing left your life. And there's evidence of that all throughout the world. You're looking at a human being right now that lost its most important thing at the time, that broke me down. But guess what? I realized that just because I lost this doesn't mean that there's not better to my life. And I started telling myself, and I started proving it to myself, that I can survive without that situation. I started proving to myself, wait a minute, I still have a heartbeat. I'm still living. Even though that situation tried to destroy me, tried to kill me, tried to take me out, it doesn't have that power. I'm still here. Yes, I'm struggling. Yes, I'm trying to find my worth again. I'm trying to find myself again. Yes, but I realize, man, if I keep moving forward, if I keep working on the things I can control, if I keep proving to myself that I'm worth it, Despite if somebody feels like I'm worth it or not, that I'm worth it. Despite if something treats me like I'm worthless, I'm worth it. Despite what people tell me, I'm worth it. Despite what society tries to put on me, I'm worth it. As long as I believe that, I'm going to live a life of worth, and I'm going to prove it to myself. And over time, what's going to happen is I'm going to move from a place of surviving to a place of thriving. I'm going to move to a place where that thing doesn't hold any power over my life no more. I'm going to move to a place where I look back and be thankful that that thing let go of me, that that thing quit on me. People will quit on you every single day. It's a part of life, but you got to wake up and make sure that you don't quit on yourself. You got to make sure that you don't quit on yourself. And you're going to cry. You're going to be sad. I understand that because you have a death of something. But just because you have a death of something doesn't mean that it has to be a death of you. It doesn't have to be a death to your worth. Certain things have to die so certain things in your life can be. Oh, man. Y'all don't hear me right now. Certain things have to die in your life so certain things can come alive. The things that I wanted in my life at the time had to die so what I needed in my life could come alive. I wouldn't be standing here for you today. I wouldn't be the Trent Shelton that you know today if certain things that I wanted to keep in my life left my life. If certain things I wanted to keep in my life died. And what some of us do, we spend our whole entire life trying to give CPR to dead situations. We spend our whole entire life losing ourselves, trying to make somebody love us and appreciate us again. We spend our whole entire life chasing the person or the thing that broke our heart, expecting the hands that broke our heart to repair our heart. And we spend the rest of our life trying to make somebody love us again, make somebody appreciate us again, make somebody see our worth, and we lose ourselves in the process. And I'm not saying things can't work back out, because things can. But if something or someone has let go of you, if something or someone has moved on from you, don't you dare tell yourself that your life is over. Yes, your life might be hard for a period of time, but I want to tell you there's more to your life than that person. There's more to your life than the things that quit on you. There's more to your life. And you got to tell yourself that every single day. Even if it's hard for you to believe it, you have to tell yourself there's more. There's more than what I'm selling for. There's more than what people try to put on my life. There's more than how people treated me. You have to tell yourself there's more, because when you tell yourself there's more, you'll start to find evidence of that. You're still living. You're still breathing. That tells me you're stronger than what you think. That tells me that deep down in your soul, you believe that there's more to your life because you haven't quit. So I want you to go seek. I want you to go find. I want you to go discover. I want you to own your best life. Because once you start living a life without that situation, and you start living a better life, and you start proving it to yourself, you break that trauma bond, that chemical bonded trauma that you're tied to, and you break it, and you show yourself, and you tell yourself, and you prove to yourself that you can still live life. You start to realize that you don't need the things in your past no more. And a lot of people never finish their story because they're stuck in their past. A lot of people never move on to the beautiful chapter in their life because they're stuck in their past. A lot of people never move on to what's meant for their life because they're holding on to something that they truly wanted in their life that didn't want them. And I know it's easier said than done, but that can't be your excuse to stay in a place that doesn't serve your life no more, to stay in a heartbreak. You're not broken. Somebody tried to break you, but you're not broken. You might have went through a breakup, right? You might have broke down a little bit, but today's the day that you break through and you tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to prove to myself that I can live a better life. I'm going to prove to myself that I'm worth it. That could be getting into better shape. That can be going for your dream. That could be you fill in the blank. But you need to prove to yourself and go live your life. You can't sit around your house feeling sad for yourself, feeling sorry for yourself, and sit in a place of depression because somebody has moved on. You have to move forward with your life, because I promise you, there is a life that is waiting for you. There's a life that's greater for you. And if you're listening to me right now, you say, Trent, no, it's not, then guess what? You're right. You're right. You're going to stay in a place of hurt. You're going to stay in a place of pain. You're going to stay in a place of sadness. I can't make it change. But I will tell you, because I've seen enough people in this world go create a better life from the situation that broke their life. But you got to make a decision right now and say, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to let somebody who didn't care about me make me feel like I'm not valuable and I'm not worth it. I'm not going to let something that quit on me make me feel like there's something wrong with me. I'm not going to allow this world to dictate my worth. I'm not going to allow anything outside of me to dictate my worth. Again, my favorite quote that I would say till I die, they didn't create you, so don't let them control you. They didn't create you. They don't have the plan for your life. God does. Yeah, that thing might have ended, but God still got a plan. That situation might have fired you, quit on you, walked away from you, but God still got a plan. Yep, some of you thought would work out, ended abruptly. God still got a plan. And you got to believe that. God got a plan that's greater. God got a plan that's stronger. God got a plan that's more incredible. You got to hold on to that. Jeremiah 29:11. When it doesn't make sense, you got to trust that God still got a plan. When it makes no sense, you got to trust that God still got a plan. When you're at your lowest point, you got to trust that God still got a plan. When everything has walked out of your life and you feel like you have nobody, you have to trust that God still has a plan. You got to trust that. And I'm coming from a place of passion because I'm tired of seeing people give up on themselves. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard when you invested your heart and soul in something and it didn't work out. I know it's hard, but you know what? It's time to bounce back. You know what? It's time to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, wipe those tears off your face, and go remember who you are. There was a you before that situation. Remember who you are. Remember who you are before it gave you pain. Remember who you are. Remember whose you are. God didn't create you to live weak. God didn't create you to live brokenhearted. God didn't create you to live in sadness. God created you to go live your best life. And sometimes we have to lose something that we like, that we want, because it's not a part of the plan to live our best life. Your best life is coming for you. I promise you. But you got to be ready to receive it. And if you're holding on to an average life, if you're holding on to something that isn't meant for your life, you'll never receive and be open to living and receiving your best life. There's a best life waiting for you. And I know sometimes it's hard to believe because some of us have created the picture that our best life is with the thing or situation that left our life. So we're like, Trent, that can't be my best life because my best life was this. My best life was this thing that was so incredible, that was so beautiful at the time. That was my best life. You got to let go of that. Maybe that was your best life at a point, but I promise you, there is a best life waiting for you. So you got to let go of the idea of something in your past was your best. You have to let go of that idea, because what's going to happen as I leave here today, what's going to happen if you think like that, you're going to feel like your life is over. You're going to feel like you can't grow. You're going to feel like you can't move forward, but you can. What I'm talking about, you go living your best life. When you have people in your inbox commit suicide because of something they passed, when you have people in your inbox that has given up on life, my message is different. So if this message is not for you, get off of it, right? But to the person that this message is for, you can drop a heart if you needed this. I came on here for you. I came on here for you. Jordan says, I feel like nobody cares about me. That's a feeling, Jordan. I'm sure a lot of people care about you. I care about you, right? The most important thing to know is God cares about you. The most important thing to know is that you got to care about yourself. Like, we feel like, oh, nobody cares about me. Nobody this. Go care about yourself. It starts with you. I've been telling y'all that since 2009. And you have to realize that we complain about all these things outside of us. We complain about all these things that we can't control. The most important thing in my message is taking ownership of your life and giving your life what it needs. Period. Giving your life what it needs. That's what I want for each and every one of you, to give your life what it needs. You can't control how people treat you. You can't control how people feel about you. Hopefully you got some beautiful, incredible people in your life. Hopefully you got some great people in your life that speak life into your life. Hopefully you have that. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure you give it to yourself. You have to make sure you give it to yourself, because everybody in this chat that I'm seeing, you're talking about something. I get it. I know. I understand it, because I'm a human too. But you're talking about something that's outside of you, how people treat you. I'm depressed because this person did this or this person did that. I understand that, because you're a human being. But you are in control of what you accept. You have to be able to give it to yourself. I'm not saying it's going to make your life easier or better, but if you're not willing to give it to yourself, then you're putting your life in the hands of somebody else. Period. You're putting your life in the hands of somebody else. That's why I will always put my life in the hands of God. Does that mean that I'm bulletproof to, feeling sad? No. I have my moments where I'm like, dang, I wish somebody would have did this. Dang, why does this person feel this way about me? Dang, I'm in the comments. Why does this person got to say this? I'm a human being. But it doesn't penetrate my soul because I give my life what it needs as much as I can. Like up here today, me hiking up here is me proving to myself that I'm worth it. It's not me trying to have the best body or just a fitness thing. It's me proving to myself that I'm worth it. It's me giving myself gifts, me speaking life into my life, me taking care of myself. Because again, this is a whole nother lie, but a lot of us, we're expecting somebody else to give us what we're not giving ourselves. And then when that happens, we become codependent on that person. Well, I need you to give me this. I need you to give me that, but you're not giving it to yourself. So for some of us, singleness or being in the place of, if it's not even a relationship, but like some of us being in a place where we just have us is a beautiful place, because that changed my life over a decade ago. Because I was able to understand what true love meant. When they say love thyself, I understand what that meant. I understand that I got to be able to give myself these things. And if I get it from other people, that's great. But also when I give myself these things, I can identify when something isn't right or real or something isn't authentic when somebody's trying to give it to me, because I'm proving it to myself. And I know that's hard, but if we can't work on ourselves, if we can't love ourselves, if we can't treat ourselves right, then you're putting your whole life in the hands of somebody else. So of course, when they do you wrong or something else, a job, a sport, when it does you wrong, then you feel like, oh, I have no purpose. I have no meaning because I was dependent on this thing to make me feel better about myself. I was dependent on this thing to make me feel like I have worth. I was dependent on this thing to make me feel like I'm valuable. And we want that. I get it. Like, I'm not oblivious to that. Like, we want those things because we need people speaking into our life. I get that. But how would your life change if you got to a point that says, yes, those things are great, but I'm not dependent on those things because I give it to myself, right? I give my love to myself. I treat myself right. And we try our best to do that. That's when life changes, y'all. And I'm not saying that it's a formula to where you don't feel sad when somebody does you wrong or something happens that doesn't go right. But what happens is, as I always talk about, facts over feelings. What happens is, yes, you might feel like, dang, man, I feel a certain way or I feel sad. But then you remember the fact. The fact is, like, yeah, this person made me feel like I was worth this. But the fact is, I'm worth it. I know I'm worth it because how I treat myself every single day. Because how I connect with God. That's why y'all got to put your worth in something that's more permanent. You got to put your worth into something that's more permanent, y'all. Like, don't put your worth into things. Don't put your worth into social media. Don't put your worth into your job. Like, those are things that, yes, can add to your life for sure. But you got to put your worth into something that's not conditional. That's unconditional. That's permanent. And me with faith, and I know everybody has different beliefs, but my worth is in God. How God feels about me, I will never let anybody else in this world make me think any different. Right? That doesn't mean that I'm not open to criticism or I'm not open to somebody of correction, because I'm open to that, because I'm not a perfect human being. But at the end of the day, I refuse to allow this outside world to make me feel like I have purpose or I don't have purpose. I do, because how I was created. I refuse to let this outside world and society make me feel like I'm worth it or not when I know I'm worth it. I refuse to allow this outside world to make me feel I'm lovable or not when I know, because I know how God loves me. And I know that seems so simple, but if you look at your life, you'll realize that a lot of our depression, a lot of our sadness comes from us putting our worth into something else. And we allow that thing to pull the strings on our emotions. When it treats us well, we feel well. When it treats us like crap, we feel like crap. And that is an emotional roller coaster life that will keep you from being emotional healthy. That's why you got to seek and spend time in nature, right? That's why I spend time out here, y'all. Spend time in nature, getting to figure out me. Who am I? Who am I without the titles? Even the title of dad, the title of husband, the title of whoever y'all think I am, right? Mentor, leader, whatever, speaker, author. Like, who am I without the titles? That's why I'm always trying to figure out, who am I? Like, who is Trent Shelton at the core of me? And that's why I spend time disconnected so much to figure that out and doing the work of my inner self. And doing the work of my inner self. Do I always get it right? No. But the more I'm disconnected from all these outside energies and forces that try to pull me a certain direction and try to pull me and control my work, control my mind, control my value, the more I'm disconnected of that, I can give myself something more permanent and something that's more real. So I just want to tell y'all that. I hope it helped you. This is a random live. My heart was saying press play. So hopefully, if you're heartbroken, yes, it's a journey, y'all. Like, if you're heartbroken, you're not broken, though. I want to tell you that. Even though you're heartbroken, you're not broken. You know what I mean? Yes, our hearts are gonna break down. But as I always tell you, broken crayons still color the same. Right? Just because something breaks doesn't mean it's broken. Just because something breaks doesn't mean it's broken. It just needs to be fixed. That's it. And so maybe life is never going to be the same, right? Because something changed. Maybe life is never going to, maybe your life is going to change forever, and that's okay. Because maybe you're moving on to something new. Because a lot of us, we try to go get our life back. I'll give you a perfect example that I'm off of here. Like, even when my mother died, right? I was trying so hard to get back to the me before my mother died. Like, I was trying so hard to get back to like the Trent in 2020. And I was trying so hard to do that. And like, I was trying to find something that didn't exist no more, because I will never be the Trent that had Aqua Shelton in his life alive. I will never be that person again. My mother is no longer here. So I'm trying to find this version of me that's no longer. And so instead of trying to find that version, you know what I did? I embraced the new. I embraced my new normal. I say, you know what? I can't go back to being that person. That's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just the truth. And so I'm going to move forward with my life and figure out this new beginning of who Trent Shelton is without his mother in his life physically, and with his mother in his life spiritually. And when I learned to really let go of trying to find that old version of me, I discovered more peace in my life. And so for some of us, it's not a death of a person, but it's a death of a job, a death of a relationship, and you're trying to find the old version of you, right? When I say remember who you are, I'm just telling you, remember that you had worth before that situation. You had a you before that situation, but you might not find that version of you anymore because things have changed. Emotionally, you change. Like, chemically, you change, right? Maybe you've been in something for years, right? And you change. Time changes things. So instead of you trying to go back and find that version of you, maybe you have a conversation with yourself today and say, man, you know what? That version of me is dead and gone. I will never be that person. Not bad, not good, just the truth. And I'm going to move forward with my life, and I'm going to create who I need to be for this next season of my life. And that's how we move forward, because as long as we live in a place of like, I'm missing something, you're always going to think something's wrong with you. As long as you're living in a place of like, man, I got to go back and find this, you're going to always think that something is wrong with you. You're going to always think that something is missing. When you think something is missing, there's no way you can live a fulfilled life, because you always feel this void and emptiness in your soul. So I would ask everybody listening to me and watching me on this live as we leave here today, is that you sit here and think about, like, what is this chapter? What is this season? What is this year? What is this moment? What does this time of the best me look like? And I want you to walk into your new normal. I want you to embrace it. And I would suggest that you start doing some things that progress your life. Because again, when your soul sees progression in any area of your life, you start to build confidence. And when you start to build confidence, you start to have belief. And the belief that you need is that I can still live a best life. So if I'm you, I'm writing down goals. Maybe it's fitness goals. Maybe it's a business goal, whatever it is. And I'm saying, you know what? I'm going to go pursue this to show me that there's still more to my life. And I promise you, there is. You know, I don't even want you to find the new me, create the new you. It's not about finding. The new you doesn't exist, right? You got to create it. Like, what's the you that you want to be? You know, I call that living an intentional life. Being intentional and saying, you know what, this is what I want to do in this season of my life, and be intentional with it. This is the person I want to be. This is what I want to give to the world. This is how I want to show up. This is how I want my energy. This is how I want to live day to day. This is how I want to wake up. This is how I want to, this is what I want to give to the, like, be intentional with what you want and who you want to be. And then go work towards that. And don't let anything or anybody take it away from you. Don't let this world take it away from you. Don't let your past take it away from you. Don't let haters in your past tell you what you can't be or what you can't do. Because when you start progressing, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Woo, when you start progressing, when you start changing, when you start elevating, people are going to try to bring you down. Those same people that thought you couldn't survive without them is going to try to pull you back and pull you down. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. But you got to go set yourself free. You set yourself free by telling yourself, there's a better me inside of me that I'm going to meet. Set yourself free today. Set yourself free right now. Set yourself free from your past. Set yourself free from the person. Set yourself free from the pain. Set yourself free and go live in your power. And your power starts with everything we talked about today. You go proving it to yourself, because I promise you it's possible. I promise you it's possible, because the only impossibilities that exist are the ones you create. But Trent, it's impossible to me. The only impossibilities that exist are the ones that you create. It's possible. I promise you. Your healing is possible. A better life is possible. How do I know? Because you're looking at a person that created a phenomenal life from a situation that I felt like I had no more life. I promise you it's possible, but you got to believe it. My words are just words, but my words become truths. My words become real when you give yourself permission to go seek your best life. Don't be the person that listens and just goes back to the same thing, complains about the same thing for the rest of your life. Life is too short to spend another day complaining about the things you can't change. It's too short. And I know I get convicted and passionate about this because I truly care, man. I truly care because I'm tired of seeing people walk around as if their life is over when they still got life. It might be a little bit harder. You might got to climb a mountain that you weren't ready to climb, but you better believe you have the power to climb that mountain. You better believe you have the perseverance to get over that mountain. You better believe with God's help, you have the endurance to endure anything that comes against you. But it's time for you to go prove it to yourself, man. Like I said in every single video, it all starts with you. If you can do me a favor, if you felt that this video had any impact on your life, if you feel that this video could have any impact on somebody's life, don't be selfish and share it. That's all that I ask. That's all that I ask you to share it, because I know there's somebody that needs to hear this message. It happens every single time. All of you watching this, just share it for me. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything but 2 seconds. And just write, just put, hey, you can copy my title. Hey, if you're going through heartbreak, you need to watch this. And that's all that I ask. That's what I need you guys to do for me. Because I'm going to continue to show up, continue to give this message of self-worth, to continue to give this message of self-reliance. Man, continue to give the message that it all starts with you. There's a greatest you inside of you, and I want you to get it. I don't care what you lost. I don't care what gave you a setback. I don't care what challenges putting you. I don't care. There's still a greatest you inside of you. And it's time for you to go live a legendary life, man. Go live a legendary life. And I promise you, again, once you start living your best life, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when people try to pull you back. Don't be surprised when people try to hate on you. Don't be surprised, because some people think that they're your lifeline. They ain't your lifeline because they didn't give you life. Some people think that, or even jobs think that there's that without them you can't be successful. Child, please. Sometimes your greatest blessings come from the biggest breakdowns. Sometimes your greatest blessings come from the biggest disappointments. I promise you. Your biggest disappointments can be the biggest blessings in your life with your permission. How do I know? Because I've been through it for years. So many disappointments that was really just an appointment to my breakthrough, to my best self. But you have to create that meaning that says, this means that I'm going to blank, live a better life. This means that I'm going to go get what I deserve. This means you have to determine that. Nobody's in control of that but you. Some of our definitions are so freaking are so freaking destructive that no wonder why we're living in destruction. Some of our definitions of life are so, what's the word? So so terrible that we don't give ourselves a chance. Right? Create better meanings, you will live a more meaningful life. Create better meanings, you will live a more meaningful life. Somebody left your life doesn't mean that your life is over. It means that you're going to get I'm done. It means that you're going to get better for your life. Create meanings that serve your soul, man, that don't break down your life, that build up your life. Like I say, it all starts with you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I know this is a random live in the car, but hopefully it helped somebody. Hopefully it was for somebody. I don't know. Let me know in the chat, because my heart was saying press live, press live, press live. And hopefully I'll talk to you soon, all right? It's rehab time. Let's get it.